put our own business together here in the Rochester area, the two of us. So we made a name up for our business, which is Erlin, which is both of our middle names. My name's Earl. His name's Alan, so we came up with Erlin.
4 hours
and we
of drinking.
thought it sounded kind of magical, like Merlin. So that's
Plus,
what
it was
we
4 hours of drinking in a bar too.
Difference.
And the difference between them all is time.
It's time.
When we worked in General Hospital, we had a week alone. Just me and 2 other special effects guys that I worked for. I didn't do that job for our company. I got hired by their effects guys to work with them, and we had just 3 weeks just to go play around in the woods and rig cables, and it's something that a low budget film you might have a day to do, and then on low budget, you're talking you gotta cut and scrape here and there.
They give you so much money, and then you got to work with that, and plus try and save money along the way.
And you got to be creative. You got to come up with, because they don't have the money for the big time stuff. Like they don't have the money for blue screen shoots. So you got to be able to come up with a way of flying somebody, correlating it with the background, lighting and shading, and try to give them something to where they can actually fly something in camera and give them a reasonable shot, which we pulled off on Johnny on an overnight thought.
So that they can spend minimal money for any digital editing that needs to be done. They have wires removed. These are props for Rochester Finger Lakes Film Commission had a party last year, their first Halloween party that they're going to have annual every year. Next year's.
How did you get into making them? They're incredible.
It's just part of the makeup side of the business. I've been doing makeup for a long time, making masks, all kinds of stuff.
Then another one of his dummies shot out of an outhouse 2 days in a row at the air show.
For the air show.
Of course, he blew up both days too. The first day he finally burned up, and the second day it was disintegrated by the dynamite. One of his dummies was the driver of the truck in General Hospital that we blew up.
When Luke came back and the scene in front of the diner when the truck catches on fire, that's dummy Dave got and put it in there.
A bunch of his dummies are out at Verhulst Farms. Haunted hayride thing there.
Did a lot of props for him.
And then, of course, our bunch of weirdos here.
They'll be using these again this year for the plus a couple more that I'm making for the
numerous severed heads and hands.
Rochester Finger Lakes Film Commission for their party.
My favorite one is what he's discussing is the soul sucking scene. And Johnny, there was a scene where
said he was an angel.
Where the kid that is killing people. Basically, what it is, it's a whole horror film, and the kid his father made a deal with the devil, so that when his son turned 18,
the devil took
in return for his father being wealthy and successful during his whole life, he gave his firstborn son's soul to the devil. When his son turns 18, the kid metamorphosizes and starts changing, and he has to kill, I don't know what, there's 13 steps to hell or whatever.
Yeah, he has
however many levels of Dante's Inferno there is, he has to kill all these souls. And after he kills them, he has to suck the soul out of them. And he sucks it out with he holds the head.
He's got he's with his powers. He's made this kid fall on the track. This is in the trailer too. And an imaginary train runs him over and cuts him up, and the head goes flying over to him, lands in front of him, and he picks the head up. And just as the soul's escaping from the body, he inhales it, and then he blows it into a bottle that he finds laying on the ground. That's the weirdest.
Not computer animation,
it's not,
or any rotoscoping, or any visual effect at all. It's all live, in camera, on stage effect.
Yep.
With smoke.
It's a good effect.
I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy being like a problem solver.
Yeah.
And it's fun to have I mean, even though it's stressful. I mean, God knows the stress that this job creates on you.
Good kind of stress.
But it's good stress because I checked into that.
Because you enjoy what you do.
I'm serious. I researched that. So anybody out there who gets stressed out on these jobs and think that and want this business and think it's bad for you, I researched it with professionals, and it is good stress.
If it's something you enjoy, yep.
But I enjoy it because it's great when someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, tomorrow we need this gag. What can you give me?"
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's all on you, and your brains are like,
we've done
I love problems.
Our work isn't steady. We both hold full-time jobs, and we're freelance effects artists. And we would love to work full-time, but in New York State, they just don't film enough movies. You either have to have the money to travel to go in these movies, and that's if you can get a job, if you can find out. Because it isn't like they advertise, well, we're going here to film this movie. It's more like a grapevine kind of thing if you're in the business. That's how we've gotten some jobs. But most of the work that we've gotten is word of mouth. I mean, We've sent resumes all over the United States.